Translation: Renunciants and great sages who see all living beings equally, who are friendly to everyone, and who flawlessly practice in the forest the vows of brahmacharya, vanaprasth, sannyas, desire to see the all-auspicious lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. May that same Supreme Personality of Godhead be my destination. So you can repeat: renunciants and great sages who see all living beings equally, who are friendly to everyone, who flawlessly practice in the forest the vows of brahmacharya, vanaprasth and sannyas, desire to see the all-auspicious lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. May that same Supreme Personality of Godhead be my destination. Srila Prabhupada purport ki. This verse describes the qualifications for devotees or persons highly elevated in spiritual consciousness. Devotees are always equal to everyone, seeing no distinction between lower and higher classes. Pandita Sama Darshina, they look upon everyone as a spirit soul who is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Thus they are competent to search for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Understanding that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the friend of everyone, Surdam Sarva Bhutanam, they act as friends of everyone on behalf of the Supreme Lord. Making no distinctions between one nation and another, or one community and another, they preach Krishna consciousness, the teachings of Bhagavad Gita everywhere. Thus they are competent to see the lotus feet of the Lord. Such preachers in Krishna consciousness are called Paramahamsas, as indicated by the word Vimukta Sangha. They have nothing to do with material conditions. One must take shelter of such a devotee in order to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srila Prabhupada ki. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvesha Sasunyavadi Paschatyadestarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Just like to take blessings of everyone. Srila Prabhupada explains in Science of Self-Realization that at present human society is being misled by leaders who are blind, for they do not know the aim and objective of human life, which is self-realization and the re-establishment of our lost relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that's why Prabhupada has actually come. He has come for these reasons, to actually give us some direction in our existences, to actually explain what the self is, who we actually are, so that we become realized, so we make the best out of this human form of life that is given, and so that we re-establish our lost relationship with the Supreme Lord. And he does use this word, re-establish. So re-establish means that we had an established relationship with the Lord before. So when you have, for example, a friend or someone, and you may not be in touch with them for a while, then you may see them after a long while, and someone may ask, "Oh, do you know this guy?" And they'll say, "Yeah, we go way back. We go way back. We're friends back in the day." So same way, we and Krishna, we go way back. It's just our minds have become clouded, so we've forgot about the Supreme Lord. And so right now we're also in a situation where we worship the Lord in awe and reverence, and we bow down and we try to read a little bit about Him, ask others about Him, and sometimes we may approach senior devotees saying, "You know, I'm not really sure even about Krishna consciousness, and I need my faith is small." But all this is actually happening just because we become poisoned. So we become poisoned in this material existence. And looking back, if you actually look at the big picture, when you go back to the spiritual world, you will see that you may even laugh about the whole thing with Krishna, and laugh how I went to the material world, I got drunk, I got drunk for a billion lifetimes, and it was quite funny, it was miserable, but and you may laugh about it. So now we're in a situation where, as Prabhupada explains, that the leaders don't know what to do, and the leaders don't know what the aim of life is. They don't know what the human form of life is meant for, and they don't know that we have actually a gati, destination. And because they don't know this information, they're all being misled, human society. So that's why Srila Prabhupada has come. And in the same book, Science of Self-Realization, Srila Prabhupada says, the greatest disservice to humanity is to keep one in darkness about Krishna consciousness. So this is another message to us, that if we want to not do the greatest disservice to humanity, we should somehow or other be part of this wonderful Sankirtan movement, because this is the only real Sankirtan movement that is allowing for people to re-establish their lost relationship with the Supreme Lord. So then also the question then comes is, if we have come from the spiritual world and we are all here, we may treat everyone differently, and we may treat our friends to stick to our family, but shouldn't we then actually see everyone as part and parcel? Shouldn't we be treating all the animals in the same way, treating all the humans in the same way, all the devotees in the same way? So this is a very highly elevated stage where one is actually can see that everyone is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, and the way we relate to everyone may be different just according to the position they're currently in. So you may talk differently to a child, you may talk differently to a person who doesn't know about Krishna consciousness, you may talk differently to someone who is highly elevated in Krishna consciousness. But the point is, one should actually develop the stage to actually see that everyone is a part and parcel of Krishna, and maybe everybody, even the person you're preaching to, is also more elevated than you in the spiritual world. Maybe everyone's your senior in the spiritual world, but you're in a position right now where you may have to actually explain to them what Krishna consciousness is. I remember when Gauri Prabhu once came to Leicester, and he explained something very nice to me, and something clicked. And he says, as a temple president, when Prabhu was a temple president back here, he says, sometimes he gets bhaktas come in, new bhaktas come in, and he can see that they are actually more elevated. He can see that they are actually a lot more advanced spiritually. But still it is his duty to tell him, Prabhu, you do this. Prabhu, you don't know what you're doing, do this. This is because there are 2 points here. That the first point is that we may have to train them, because they might not have the experiences of what it means to be in the Krishna conscious movement. They may have lost their they don't actually know what the right etiquette is, but they still may be more spiritually advanced. So even when we're on the street, for example, and do book distribution, you may be more experienced. You know all the words, you know the verses, you know how to pay dandavats, you know you do it left side, right side. But there may be living entities that are actually more spiritually advanced, but they're just, they don't know about, it's just a matter of time before they actually start to come to the real proper standards. So we don't know anyone who is who, but what we do know, and the one facts we do have, and we have to go by the facts of what the Guru, Sadhu and Sastra explain, and the facts are that every single living entity is a part and parcel of Krishna. I still have very, very small understanding of even what this means, part and parcel, but if I'm correct to say, you can correct me later if you want, we're like little mini Krishnas. So we are our little lords. We are, you know, if I want to drink water, intelligence, got a glass. Yeah, so we have our little things with the Lord. We have our little few people who may look up to us. We have a few little instruments we can play. So we're like little mini Krishnas. So every single living entity is actually like a mini Krishna. And if it actually gets really in tune with the Supreme Lord, this soul is very, 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 very powerful. And the soul is very, very dear to Krishna. And one soul can actually light up more than the sun. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains that one soul that's pure can actually deliver a whole universe. So this is what every single living entity has the potential to do. So for some reason, whatever it may be, all these living entities in the spiritual world left. Srila Prabhupada explains 1/10. Some I read in Srila Prabhupada's books, he sometimes says quarter of the living entities. And sometimes he says more than a quarter, sometimes he says less than a quarter. And Prabhupada's also said 1/10 as well in the conversations which are in the first Prabhupada archives if you watch the videos. And he explains that 1/10 of the living entities actually leave the spiritual realm. And this is out of, we can say maybe curiosity, independence, very hard to understand. Why would a living entity leave the spiritual world, which is so nice? And Krishna's there. Very hard to understand. But we were in a spiritual form at that time, so it's sometimes hard to understand these very high subject matters while we're in the material, we're engaged in this material body. So, but what we can at least understand is there was some curiosity, and we decided to come to the material world. As we come to the material world, then Krishna gives us the facilities, whatever you want to enjoy in the material world. Krishna is very loving, and Krishna has to sometimes also give you the things that he's not happy to give you. Just because he gives you it, it doesn't mean that he's actually happy with it, but he doesn't want to just force you like a robot. So you're all robotic and you have to stay in the spiritual world and you can't move left, you can't move right, you've only got to look at him. He wants love, he wants this. So he allows for you to say, no, I'm going here. No, I want this. And he does give. I mean, there are some cases where Krishna may not fulfill your desires, but Krishna actually, he fulfills desires. That's it. That's what he does. Whatever you want, you actually get. So we have wanted to enjoy separately. Then as we come into the material world, what happens is, there's a nice explanation in Canto 5, that we actually come through like a a merchant coming into a forest. He just wants some commodities, and he wants some commodities, get some nice wood, maybe a few tropical parrots, sell them, and then he comes into this forest, but then it gets deeper and deeper into the forest, and before you know it, starts to get dark. As soon as it starts to get dark, he's thinking, I can't make my way back. Maybe I'll just stay here a little longer, and I'll go in the morning. And then before he knows it, he's lost his path. Then he's working out, I don't know how to get out. And as he gets more and more into this forest, he's getting hounded by jackals, by different insects, and different animals, and the crickets are making all this noise, and he's getting more and more bewildered. And as he gets in this forest, he gets more and more bewildered. He's getting so bewildered that he actually forgets not just the path, he forgets that there is even a path out. He even forgets that there is something beyond this forest. For him now it is just about survival. For him it's just about survival. And that's what 99.9% of human population is doing. They don't know about that, actually we just come into this material world. They forgot about the path. And they've actually forgotten about the fact that there is a Supreme Lord. They've forgotten about there's a Supreme Destination. They've forgotten about that all these living entities, these are just few of the living entities on this planet right now. That most of all the living entities are in the spiritual world. They've actually forgotten all of this information. And then someone may in the forest be like, do you know what? There might be something out there, Oh, don't be stupid, And no, there can't be nothing out there. And go, no. And then they get some religious people who says, we should pray to God, and there is a heaven, there's a spiritual world. This guy is crazy. But actually these people have become crazy. And so it's very interesting how who we call crazy. And it's like, one example is that a deaf man, he's getting deaf. He's not quite deaf, but he's getting deaf. And he may call out to his wife downstairs. Let's call her Lucy. Lucy! And she's downstairs and goes, yeah, how can I help you? But he can't hear the response. So he's shouting more, Lucy! And he goes, yeah, what do you want? And then finally he comes down and then he chastises her. Yeah? Because, what's wrong with you? You deaf? No, you're deaf. So right now, like that, human society has gone very deaf, crazy, blind, and crazy and stuff like that. So that's why they have now taken on this bodily platform of life. Because they have this bodily platform of life, what happens is they just identify with where they think they come from. They think they came from just mum and dad and this family and this country and this local town. They'll be just crazy about their own football team. They'll be only thinking about what they want to do for their family and their kids. That they've lost the real picture that we're all of us, we're all one big, happy family that live in the spiritual world, and Krishna's in the middle, and everything's great. They don't know this. So because of this, what they do is actually have more and more racism increases, anger between other nations. Even within Christian groups you have, no, these are the Catholics, these are the Protestants, let's kill them, let's blow them up, let's do this. And so all this happens. So what Krishna consciousness does is giving opportunity for people to actually get off this whole bodily platform, off this such narrow, dull consciousness, and actually to become very broad-minded and to actually see what the facts are and see how we are actually all part of one family, how we're all actually part and parcel of Krishna. And I was going to go into a bit of explanation about the effects of racism, bodily platform. But even if we forget racism, even speciesism, the fact that we may say we take care of the human society, but still the animals are being treated badly. So like this, when one actually becomes Krishna conscious, he also takes care of the living entities. Just right now we saw how, I saw during Japa time, Nrsimha Tirtha Prabhu, he picked up a little insect while he's doing his Japa, and he went all the way outside to make sure this insect doesn't get stamped on. He looks like a tough guy to me. I don't know if he stamped on anyone before, but now he wouldn't even stamp on an insect. So this shows that the type of broad-mindedness we're getting, and how we're actually caring for every living entity. Having so many problems in this world with war, and one of the biggest places where there was problems, South Africa. I've been South Africa myself, and still it says you have to be careful, If you're a black person, you have to be frightened also of other black persons and other people and other notorious white people. And the Indians, they have to be scared of both the blacks and the Indians. And the white people, they're also scared of some of the black guys. So it's a whole real mess in South Africa. Mataji is from South Africa, and Haribol. And so what Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj's very famous speech that he gives, this is all with all these ministers. And has everyone seen this speech? Has anyone seen this famous speech he does with the United Nations? Has anyone seen that? Okay, you can YouTube it if you're allowed to go on internet and YouTube. So you see that Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, he says, where will you see in South Africa where there is so much racism, so many problems, where will you see people, black person, white person, Spanish person, Indian person, Korean person, all come together, not just working in a company. See, so first he says, working together with such peace and harmony. Then I thought about it more and thought, well, hang on, I worked for an insurance company for a few years, and I used to work with mixed people, and I saw that we used to work together, and it wasn't a big problem. So why, what's such a big deal that ISKCON is doing? The difference is, at work you get paid. At work you can pay someone money and says, okay, you work with him, you work with them, and you work like that. But that's fine. You stop paying this person, they wouldn't want to be in that environment. And if you force people without pay to be somewhere, they will also create problems and things will happen. Here, no one is being forced. No one's getting paid. And if someone may be getting paid, it may be just for maintenance, just to live their lives. But the point is, it's all voluntary. And despite all this voluntary stuff that we don't have to be here, we are making an effort to call everyone Prabhu, Master, Mataji, Mother. Sometimes we may lose the actual meaning of these words. Prabhu, we say, oh, shut up, Prabhu. Yeah. Oh, they're just the Matajis, they're just, no. But so like this, but the real Krishna consciousness, real Krishna consciousness is teaching us full respect for every living entity. See everybody as senior. See everybody as part and parcel of the Lord. And with this type of mentality, one will then be able to see Krishna. See, that's what it's saying here. Renunciants and great sages who see all living beings equally, who are friendly to everyone, and flawlessly practice in the forest the vows of brahmacharya, vanaprastha, sannyas, desire to see the auspicious lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Radha Gokula Nanda Ki, Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Ki, Gora Nitaya Ki, Srila Prabhupada Ki. Yeah? So if you want to see Krishna, you have to at least be able to see his part and parcels as equal. And so then it comes back to, I just want to address this point again, that we do get this situation for ourselves where we may have to give advice to others. Others may have to give advice to us. So it's interesting how we're saying, look at everybody as master, look at everybody in respect, see everyone equally, yet we are ready to give siksha to other people. We are ready to take siksha from other people. And sometimes we're in a situation where someone may be more senior than you, but they may still say something which is wrong. They still may act in such a way which is not the ideal way. So what the neophyte mentality is, hang on, I thought he was meant to be senior. Why is he eating with his left hand? So either we may think, no, maybe he's trying to show us to get even off this ritualistic platform. Maybe you can. Maybe I'll also eat with my left hand. This guy is perfect. He is perfect. Everything he does is perfect. Or we may just see him go, oh my God, I had so much respect for him. He's eating with it. I can see he's holding that bread with his left hand. He's out of it. I never thought it, but he's completely out of it. So this is extremism, and this type of extreme mentality is what is called neophyte. It may actually be that this devotee, this person is very elevated, but he's also making a little mistake. Because that's why we are all here in the material world. There may still be some residue. Some people may have more residue of material things, and some devotees may have less residue, but they may have less empowerment. But they may be following very nicely, but still not have the Shakti. Someone may have a lot of Shakti, but they're still not got the right etiquette. So like this, we can see one thing. We are patients helping patients. We're all trying to help each other. And patients helping patients. And then if we can see with equal vision that actually these are all living entities, these are all devotees of the Lord, and then the way we relate to people will still be different, but the mentality is the same, that we are all Krishna's servants. So I think that's a very interesting point to just note, because I see this so much that no, but this Prabhu, he was out of order to say this, and so he's out of it. No, he was just out of order maybe to say that one thing. So like that, we all have our defects. But the great thing is we're not trying to then say, and it's okay to have defects, and it's okay to not be correct, and it's okay to do things the way you want. No, that's why we need, so Prabhupada says, one must take shelter of such a devotee, as indicated by the word Vimukta Sangha. They have nothing to do with material conditions. one must take shelter of such a devotee in order to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's okay for now if we are not pure. However, we should be taking shelter of someone who is pure, and we should try to become pure ourselves. And that will then give us the vision to also see Krishna. So we have a wonderful system. Krishna set up a wonderful system, this Guru Parampara system. And he explained everything to Brahma, Lord Brahma, Shiva, for the Kumaras, and Lakshmi. Lakshmi Devi. So like this exact. So if you take advice from Brahma, it's same as taking advice from Krishna. And that conviction should be there that when it comes down into Guru Parampara, when it's then you're listening to Narad Muni, it is non-difference to what Lord Brahma would say, and Lord Brahma is saying exactly what Krishna would say. So what the mentality is, it's a conditioned mentality. It's in one sense it's natural, but what happens is when we go through this Guru Parampara and we're coming down, we start thinking we're becoming more distant from Krishna. And then we get also to the point where we come to Srila Prabhupada. And then very nicely Srila Prabhupada gives us strong faith, that have faith in Guru Parampara. I am here, I am representing what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is doing, I'm representing Narad Muni, I'm representing my spiritual master, Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj. And so Srila Prabhupada has given us this faith that this Guru Parampara is bona fide. So again, we have to remind ourselves that this Guru Parampara is also very, very powerful, and we should also take shelter of a spiritual master. A spiritual master, if one takes shelter of such a devotee, he will able to then see the Supreme Lord. The aim of life is to re-establish our lost relationship with the Supreme Lord. So that means to actually see, be, and serve and love the Lord. But due to our conditioned nature being into this atmosphere, we have actually become poisoned and blinded by ignorance. And we can become pure with the right guidance. If I give one example, that if you have water coming down, so we can think of the water as living entities. When it rains, it comes down and then it goes into the mud, and then it becomes dirty. But when it evaporates, pure water comes. So same way, this Krishna conscious process is like evaporation. It's the pure water being. So you, the living entity, will rise above or transcend your material conditioning. And to rise above, this is the Krishna conscious process. This is this Sri Krishna Sankirtan movement. And how is it done? It's done with guidance of all of the devotees. The devotees are guiding everyone. How to, Prabhu, come on, sorry Prabhu. Yeah, we're getting a lot of guidance. We've got the Sastra here, perfect Sastra, translated perfectly, purports perfect, everything to guide us. And then we also have all of the devotees, and we also have our main Siksha Guru, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, and we may have so many Siksha Gurus. But here it's also saying one must take shelter of such a devotee in order to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that one must actually take Diksha and have a Diksha Guru. And what the Diksha Guru does is he connects you to the Supreme Lord. He connects you to the Guru Parampara. He is like an administrator, I think this word. He gets you in the in the inner circle. And what a spiritual master may do is very interesting, because we hardly may see a spiritual master. But a bona fide spiritual master, he may see that you are getting siksha elsewhere, and he'll be happy for that. You may be getting siksha here, you may be getting siksha there. But what a spiritual master can do, he can override and look at the big picture. So he may give you just one instruction in your life, such as I want you to be out there, preaching. Maybe DT worship's not so much for you too much. Maybe that's the only type of mood he may have gave. Or he may say, okay, I think you're more of a hospitality person. Keep it up. You treat guests nicely. That's all he may have said. So other instructions may be coming from so many different forms of authority, and we take all of that. But the spiritual master is very artfully giving us this overall vision, this overall indication of where you will be able to put your energy, because what the Supreme Lord, what the spiritual master knows is he knows where you're at. And his bona fide spiritual master's only aim is for you to be Krishna conscious of Krishna, so you can see Krishna. So if you take direction, then you will actually become Krishna conscious. But then what the other flip side, on the other side of what someone does is say, no, don't tell me what to do. I have my spiritual master. So this is not the correct mood neither, that one is just a Gurudas. One is not just a Diksha Gurudas, but one should be actually Siksha Gurudas. And this is where it takes maturity, and it takes spiritual depth. It takes good sadhana, good bhajan, and a good service mentality to be able to see when good direction is coming towards you, to be able to take it. A lot of the times when we're not in the right consciousness and someone is giving us direction, we're not able to take that and say, hey, thank you. Instead, we may fight it. But when we're in good consciousness, when we're doing our sadhana very nicely, when we're having a proper service mentality, when good direction does come to us, we will actually able to see that this is the actual, this is help for me to actually become self-realized. This is actually something that is going to help me see the Supreme Lord. Now, last point I'd like to make is, if I've got anything else, did I think? Anyway, I spoke about completely different of what I was going to talk about. That's okay. That one may go in a, just to give an example I've been thinking of, is one may be in a car crash, and one may have, boom, lost their memory. And once they've lost their memory, they're into the hospital, and the parents may come to visit them. And the parents have so much love for this child, for this person, for yourself, generally. And may say, hey son, how are you? And the son, who's just been brain damaged, who are you? This can really hurt. Really hurt the parent's heart. To hear their own child says, who are you? I don't know who you are. It's me, your mom. Look, it's dad. That's that. No, I don't know who you are. Imagine, in your own time, maybe just think about the pain that your parents may go through if you just said to them, I don't even know who you are. I don't care about you. So this is the situation that we actually left Krishna. We became brain damaged in this material universe, and we have forgotten about Krishna. So Krishna does feel, it says, even though he's always very blissful, Prabhupada also does say, gives one example, that if you're having a little difficulty and pain in your finger, I don't know exactly what it says, but it still creates some discomfort. So for Krishna, the fact that you have forgotten about him, it creates discomfort. But Krishna's not angry. He's just upset. I don't know if upset's the right word, but anyway, the point is that he wants you to remember him again. He wants that. So what happens is, when you admit the first stage of the problem is to admit that you have a problem. So most people in this human society, if you mention God, they'll be like, no, I don't believe in it. No, I'm not into it. I can't see him, not into it. But the next stage is you're saying, I can't see him. I don't have no memory of him. I have forgotten him. I don't have no feelings for him. But I am going to try to regain my memory back. So then the next stage, if the parents have a child, or anyone, their son or daughter, and explain to them that, I know you've lost your memory, but at least have a look at these photos. This is when you were a little kid. This is when you used to play football with Dad. Yeah? So when you take out these photos, if the son then says, no, I don't even want to look at them. So this again is very hurting for the parent, that not only has he lost his memory, but he doesn't even want to look at the old photos. But the better stage than that would be, the parent would be pleased when you say, I've lost my memory, but come on, I'll give it a go. Let me have a look. And then you look. And the parents, even though they can see that you've still forgotten them, you still don't remember the photos, but the fact that you're trying, they was building up their confidence as well, that he's going to make it. He's at least he's doing what he's doing. And naturally, if you read Srimad Bhagavatam, the glories of Krishna, your memory will be revived. Everyone's memory will be revived. Every single living entity. If any living entity, whether it be a cat, dog, plant, hears this Hare Krishna mantra, naturally it will be reawakened, this consciousness. And so our aim is to, we become Krishna conscious by this process, and we will then able to see simultaneously that all living entities should be having the same process of Krishna consciousness and try to revive their consciousness. So like that, I'll just read the verse last time. Renunciants and great sages who see all living beings equally, who are friendly to everyone, and who flawlessly practice in the forest the vows of brahmacharya, vanaprasth, and sannyas, desire to see the auspicious lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. May that same Personality of Godhead be my destination. So make it our destination, make it everyone's destination. Everybody wants Krishna consciousness. As George Harrison said, everybody is looking for Krishna, just some don't realize that they are. So thank you very, very much. It's getting a bit late, but if there's any questions, comments,